Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. In today's video, I'm going to go over my Cast on Crit Reap Trickster that I have. I just got to level 70. I just got all of my skill points and my Merciless Lab done, so I'm kind of just getting started in the endgame. I'm going to run my first map, just going to do a tier 1 map after I kind of go over my gear and everything here. I showed on my previous build update that I have a lot of really cool stuff going for this, and I'm going to show some of that gear off. But first, I'll go over, show here that I am a Trickster. I currently have Ghost Dance, Escape Artist, and Swift Killer. I'm actually doing Reap as with its hit damage. I may actually switch over to Purifying Flame at some point. I'm not really sure. Because there's a major issue, and I'll kind of show off that issue. I'm sure you'll run into it, but basically, Reap's cost, life cost, ramps up quite a lot while hitting a single target. If you're not killing something and hitting one target, it gets more life cost as it goes up, and I actually have a little bit of problem sustaining my life with that. I have one solution, which is a Surgeon's Divine Life Flask of Acceleration. So the reason this is important is because I can actually gain back flash charges on my life flask while I'm bossing. Meaning I'm not going to run out of life flask while I'm doing the boss fights, and that's very important. But I'll just go over the tree. I got a lot of the physical damage stuff here. I may save a couple of points, although honestly I'm only going to save like 1 point going through this way, so I may not do that, although I could spec out of these nodes here and end up saving like 3 points going down through this dexterity instead. And then I have I need some accuracy and crit chance, so I go through the crit stuff. I'm getting a couple of power charges, so I have one here and one here, which gives 6 power charges total currently, with possible plans of getting a 7th. Then I got all of the nice life stuff and popping through here. I kind of got some of this stuff late, but you can get Revenge of the Hunted early on. And I kind of beelined over this way. I got some of the physical stuff over here. I think maybe this is going to be less effective than getting Vanquisher, and may not be worth it at all, but we'll see. I kind of like these, at least this left side here with the 14% and 25% is actually quite a lot of damage. Got Constitution. I am using my Thread of Hope that I got on my Spectral Shield Throw character, my Gladiator from Cirrus, and I'm using that currently to get Divine Wrath, Divine Fury, and I'll probably also pick up Sanctum of Thought just because reduced effective curses and reduced extra damage from crit strikes is quite powerful defensively. So I probably will end up picking that up. I was also thinking of getting Arcane Capacitor, so potentially this Thread of Hope could give me a lot of value. And the kind of the thought process, and then I'm running as a Glancing Blows block character with evasion and dodge, and eventually spell dodge as well. I have a little bit of spell dodge, but not a lot. And I am going to get Itziri Step in this build. I'm going to do some Itziri runs until I get that. I didn't really do Itziri on my previous character. Currently I have 4% dodge and 4% spell dodge, but I do plan on getting Elusive, which will give me dodge and spell dodge. I do plan on getting Itziri Step as well, so I'll have a little bit of that going because we don't have a lot in the way of mitigating spell stuff other than my current spell block, which is 50%, which only mitigates a portion of the damage, 35% of the damage mitigated, plus the damage mitigation I get from the Ghost Shrouds from Ghost Dance. I'm running Swift Killer as well to generate charges, and because we're cast on crit and we're going Cyclone, I generate charges literally just by channeling, which is huge. I can actually rev up to full power before bosses. I'm about to get a 5th Frenzy charge, by the way, but I currently have 6 power charges and 4 Frenzy charges. About to pick up the 5th Frenzy charge right here with Frenetic. So that's really big. And yeah, I'm scaling ES and life simultaneously. My current effective health pool, only at level 70, is about 4,500, 4,600, somewhere in there. And that's going to go up substantially. I have a lot of stuff still to get. I might get the True Strike and Hired Killer stuff. Hired Killer would probably help nicely while clearing for like the life gain on hit as well. So, or life gain on kill rather. I wish I had some life gain on hit. And I did for a long time. I actually, in order to sustain this early on, I used a specific unique claw while leveling, and I used this really early. So I changed to cast on crit basically right away in Act 4 because I was able to, with the new power charge on crit and the new increased critical strikes, I'm actually getting a very substantial amount of crit chance. And I actually use the Mortem Morsu Claw, which is a level 36 claw, and it's got a lot of attacks per second and a lot of base crit chance. So I was able to utilize this to enable cast on crit very early on, and it also has life gained on hit. So with my Cyclone, I was able to sustain the life cost of Reap with that. My links are Reap, increased critical strikes, power charge on crit, Cyclone, cast on crit, and increased critical strike damage. I think this is a pretty efficient setup. I'm getting 4 times 6, so 24% more damage with this. I have other ways to generate power charges though, so I may switch over to something else. I can't use Brutality because I'm using Hatred as well as Divine Wrath for conversion for damage as extra. And I may also get Magmatic Strikes down here as well for some more elemental conversion. And I'll talk about why that is. Actually, I'll just talk about it right now. So I plan on getting Harness the Void. Harness the Void is interesting because it's basically 20% more damage. But the way that chaos or non-chaos damage conversion into chaos works is it actually kind of double dips with damage conversion. So when you're getting, it's going to take like your physical damage and then your converted damage as well and separately convert them into chaos damage. And people used to do this all the time with, it was a unique body armor. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it basically would convert a portion of your non-chaos damage to chaos or give you extra damage of non-chaos damage as chaos damage per corrupted item you had, and it used to be a huge way to kind of double dip your damage. Not a lot of people do it anymore, and I know they changed some of the systems, but I believe this still works. So bare minimum, I'm getting 20% more damage, but potentially with Harness the Void, I'm getting an incredibly high amount more. And considering how often I'm hitting with both the Cyclone and Reap, my Cyclone doesn't do that much damage, but once I get it ramped up, it's actually it's not an insignificant amount of damage. And yeah, I have this extra damage that's going to scale very well with all of the extra kind of more multipliers I'm getting through this conversion. Like 23% of physical damage is extra cold damage. I also plan on and potentially getting a Redeemer's Ambusher. Right now I just have this weapon. Honestly, all you need is crit chance and attack speed to make this work. Like any weapon with high crit chance and high attack speed, I would say at least 1.6 attacks per second and at least 7.5 crit chance, preferably over 8, would be perfect. So, you know, Mortem Morsu is good until you get things going. You could probably do Mortem Morsu even into early maps if you want to go cast on crit. But yeah, I have some other interesting gear. This is by far, well, it's not the least interesting piece. The least interesting piece is Praxis, which I have to use until I can do some, I need to do some Betrayal because I still do not have the minus mana cost ring craft because I just did not do a ton of Betrayal on my other character. I plan on doing some more on this character because it's going to be a bosser. But those are the least interesting pieces of gear. The more interesting pieces I have, first of all, there's this amulet. This amulet has triple tier 1 resist. I got it on my other character from ROG. It has tier 1 energy shield, and it has tier 1% energy shield as well. And I'm gonna use catalysts. I only have it at 6% for now, but as I get defense catalysts, I'm going to put it on here. It's going to give me a very significant amount of energy shield, and yeah, this is quite nice. And I have Mystic Bulwark on there to get some extra spell block, and I'm also getting some spell block from my shield, but I'll talk about that in a second. So that's really nice. Yeah, let's go to the shield. This shield has a pretty high amount of evasion and energy shield. It has very high resistances, 48 fire and 44 lightning, so tier 1 fire, tier 2 lightning. And then I have the spell block, a tier 1 spell block roll. And those are the main reasons I have the tier 2 evasion and energy shield set up. Really bad spell damage roll. I wish this was a little higher, but it is what it is. And then I just crafted life. So pretty nice shield. I also have an kind of interesting helmet. I'm going to craft a much better helmet. But I did put a perfect fossil on this, so it's at 25% quality. I could use Hillock, I believe, through Betrayal, which I'm going to be doing a lot of anyway, to get like 30% on a lot of my pieces of armor. That'll be nice. So like the shield, 30%. I'm working on a better body armor at the moment, but this is the 6 link that I have. And yeah, this is just energy shield and life. I'm gonna try to get like a 300 plus energy shield, but this does have tier 1 hybrid energy shield and tier 1 flat ES. So if I can get remove life, I might just craft percentage ES and have a little lower life, just for the extra energy shield and evasion I would get. The reason you want to use energy shield on Trickster, if you're not familiar, is because of Escape Artist, which gives you 5 evasion rating per 1 maximum energy shield on helmet. So for instance, with this helmet where I have 224, I'm getting like just an absolute ton, like 1,400 and yeah, it's a lot. 1,480 ES from this, I think, which is bigger than a lot of pieces. So I may have done that math wrong, but that seems right in my head. And then you also get 1 maximum energy shield per 6 evasion rating on body armor. My current body armor is not super good, but it does have high life, some resists, dodge, and yeah, it's got that going for it at least. So pretty nice. Those are some of the nicer pieces. One of the most interesting parts of this build are these gloves. These are actually synthesized gloves that I found through, I think it was in a logbook, with double synthesized implicit increased critical strike chance and global physical damage. Probably the best possible thing I could have gotten. So I have that, and I threw essences, I think, on this. Maybe I didn't. It doesn't have an essence roll. I might have just chaos spam this until I got life and chaos resist. And I currently have accuracy crafted onto it. I'm going to look more into how the conversion works once I actually have Harness of the Void. And if it is worthwhile, I'll take the accuracy off and I will instead put on one of the conversions, which I may or may not have unlocked. And if not, then I'll just go ahead and unlock that. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I can use the glove conversion and convert a portion to elemental damage if that's going to give me a larger benefit, and that would be very nice as well. I do need a little bit of accuracy because currently I'm only at 99%. Optimally, I'll be at 100, but I can upgrade my precision a little bit more. It's still only level 15. I stopped leveling it for a while because I didn't have enough mana. So, gonna get that all taken care of. So yeah, and then I have this belt which will be replaced, but the life regen is helpful and it's got a high amount of life as well as some resistances. I will be replacing it with this crystal belt, which I may craft a little bit more because it's not quite to my liking, with the idea of getting a higher energy shield roll and a higher life roll. And eventually, I think I do have the cooldown reduction craft for belts, so I think that I will go ahead and craft that. Yeah, I do. Well, it only goes up to 18%. I believe you need 14% to get an extra proc per second on cast on crit. So I may not end up doing that just because it isn't going to be worthwhile. I think, yeah, there's like a break point on how many casts per second, and with such a low cooldown of 0.15 seconds, I believe in order to reach the next breakpoint to where it'll actually work, it's 14% if I recall properly. So that is something that I'll have to take into consideration. But yeah, I do have that crystal belt that I'm going to craft, try to get a very high amount of energy shield, and then other than that, I'm looking for a lot of evasion. I currently have 8578. I want to get this higher, probably at least like 12, 15,000 at some point I'm looking for. So yeah, I still have a lot of upgrades despite coming baseline with a lot of different things. But yeah, I'm just going to pop into a map. Oh, and flasks. I have a Stibnite flask that has that's used automatically when I become frozen, and it has freeze immunity. I have a Quicksilver I haven't rolled because it's level 3. I'm going to get a better Quicksilver off one of my other characters at some point. Just haven't done that yet. I have this Evasion Jade Flask. So with all of my buffs up, I have 18,648 evasion. And I get 5% of that back with Ghost Dance when I lose a Ghost Shroud. So that recovers a very substantial amount. So if I have both these up, I get a lot of ES back from my Ghost Shroud. I think it's like 500 at 10,000. So it would be something along the lines of 750 ES recovered when I use up a Ghost Shroud. That's pretty huge. A little bit more than that even. So almost 800. And that's a majority of my ES at the moment. So that'll be very, very nice for keeping my ES up. And yeah, we're working on chaos resistance since the total life total isn't going to be that high. Currently minus 23% instead of minus 60%. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll run a Mesa. And I'll probably just right off the bat just throw an Elk on it. Looks like nothing in particular that affects us. So yeah, let's pop into this Mesa, see how this bad boy performs, and get to it. So I don't have a lot of my utility setups because I don't know what I want to go. I don't really have enough mana to do a cast on damage taken setup. There's probably some more damage utility stuff. I can't really think of a curse that would benefit me a lot. I guess vulnerability, because most of my damage still is physical. But yeah, as you can see, I'm getting a good amount of crit procs. I'm a little slow still. Once we get elusive, we'll get 30% move speed, which is going to be really big. So, and once I have a better rolled like charge recovery Quicksilver flask or something, that'll make things a lot better as well for mapping. But yeah, we're gonna be a little slow here at the beginning, but the damage is alright. The damage is feeling pretty good. So far so good on that. I'm just not gonna level. I don't know why I bother leveling up my Flame Dash. It just makes it so that I'm using it to proc Arcane Surge at the moment. So we can have that for a little bit of extra damage. You know, this is feeling pretty solid so far. Obviously, all of my gems are still under leveled. I think I'm like level 16 or 17. Yeah, level 16 for my gems. So still a lot of damage to be eked out that way. Many, many times more damage. And you could kind of see right there on that rare how it ramps up. Corrupting Blood's a huge problem. I think I have my Corrupting Blood flask, yeah, on my 1. So I need to remember that. I have been using Corrupting Blood immunity on my first flask slot instead of my second one, which I had previously done most of the time this league, so I should be used to it in theory. One thing to note, probably the biggest thing on this, is that the expeditions, there is an expedition mod. You have to pay a lot more attention that enemies can't take critical hits. This is probably the most annoying thing because it's not highlighted, so you can't see it automatically. Like this one's immune to physical damage. You can see it right out of the gate. But let's see if it's here just in case, just so I can point it out. Okay, it doesn't look like it's on any of these, but yeah, honestly, oops, gotta place that so that hits both of them. It's really, really, really obnoxious, and it's something I think I've died twice. So let's see, deaths. Oh, I've died 6 times. Wow. But I know that I've died twice at least just to the monsters can't be crit expedition mod, which is really annoying. Yeah. So as you can see, when we're not killing things, our life is draining, but defensively, it looks like we're pretty sound so far. We get into situations like this where all the ghost dance shrouds go down and kind of have to duck out for a sec. And then I go back in once I've recovered some of my ghost shrouds. Once we get more defenses, like more spell block and stuff like that, that should, in theory, become less of an issue. I do have a little bit of spell leech as well as ES, which could be helpful. Once we have higher ES numbers and therefore can leech more, we will be able to get things down a little bit quicker. But yeah, damage numbers seem to be a little low so far. But I think the scaling, and I have almost all of my slots. I have like a couple of 1-slot jewel slots that I just don't have anything to put in yet. And since I'm not on Trade League, I can't just buy the stuff that I need. I have to actually roll it. So I have some stuff there that I can get offensive stuff going for me. Okay, let's see how the boss goes. So we have the oak boss here, and this will kind of show I'm gonna pretty much constantly use my life flask here. As you can see, the life flask is going up as we're dealing critical strikes. So defensively against single target, very sound. Still a little trouble so far against the expedition mobs, but yeah, we have a lot of work to do, still low level, so that should change very, very quickly. And I think it's a pretty cool build overall. So that's the map. Pretty much full cleared. There's 9 monsters somewhere, but I hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!